My here. Yeah, I will in a moment. And we have the El Jefe, which is sitting right behind there in the corner, which is my father.
My chauffeur.
Yeah, her chauffeur. Yeah.
Love it. Hey, Ray, is it best if we're all off camera so that you guys are big?
Yeah, it just depends logistically, Renee. I'm not sure how we want to coordinate that, but that might be great. And when we have a question, you can certainly turn your camera on. That will cue us to be able to answer a question. So I'm gonna let you at least start it, Renee. Should we get started, or what do you think?
Let's do it. Yes. Without further ado, Ray, thank you so much for you and your mom joining us this afternoon, pardon me, to help celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. We're so excited to learn from you and hear some of your stories and just get to know you over the next hour. So without further ado, take it right away.
Okay. Well, bienvenidos. Buenos días, buenas tardes, and buenas noches. That's as good as I could get. Welcome to our home, my wife Catherine and mine, here in Los Altos, California, which is right next to Palo Alto and Cupertino in the South Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. I am privileged and honored to introduce my mother, Letitia. And to be honest with you, this was very much billed as though I was making the tamales and I was showing everyone else how to make the tamales. To be very honest with you, I have successfully made tamales once in my entire lifetime.
Love it. So you and Katie.
And Katie, yes, the both of us together. We're gonna talk a little bit about it. We're gonna talk a little bit about obviously the process of making tamales. But I would like for you to take this next hour to sit, enjoy, learn, experience, and understand really it is an art. It's an art of making tamales as part of the Mexican tradition. The tamale has such a long history. It goes back to the indigenous people of the Americas, actually. We were just actually talking about that, about how far along it went, right? But it has always maintained a particular form. It's been wrapped. It's been then had some sort of cornmeal around it and a filling. Those are basically the simple ingredients to it. But I'm going to tell you, and this may be as a disappointment to a number of you, I give it about, I don't know what, about a 5% chance that if you were to try this right after this, it'll probably succeed. Maybe, I don't know. But I probably also think that a lot of you are foodies, enjoy cooking, enjoy the art of cuisine. And as you know, in many cultures, there is a signature type of food, right? You can talk about, let's see, there could be sushi, there could be pasta, there could be the ravioli, there could be so many different types that align with different cultures. But I think, I don't know, what do you think, Mom? The tamale could be the most quintessential part of Mexican cooking?
Not exactly, because tamales do take a process and a long time.
Yeah.
So you don't find tamales at all restaurants.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah,
right.
But there are some places that they have been noted for tamales. There was a tamale factory in San Jose where they're
they could, and so many different people can get into it in so many different.
But tamales are very important for around Christmas time.
Yes.
So that's when everybody is out looking for the masa and the ingredients to make tamales.
So let me ask you this question. Why Christmas time? Why do you think tamales are so important during Christmas time?
Well, because it's gathering of family.
Yeah. Right.
You see, family. And you need to have something that's going to feed all the people that are going to gather together. You can have other foods, you know, but the tamales are traditional, and it takes a lot of preparation. And it's a sharing of our culture, sharing of our tradition. And of course, we have a wonderful celebration around Christmas time that we call posadas. And that's 9 days before Christmas. And the 9 days before Christmas, we do the preparation for Christmas Eve.
Right.
And Christmas Eve is when we gather and.
We gather, right?
And.
But before that time,
we don't eat tamales until.
Until then, right? But before Christmas, there's this communal gathering of family, right?
Family, yes.
And there's a number of people that come together.
Right.
And there's a number of people that start the process by making tamale, right?
Yes.
And we know, and by the way, the recipe that I shared with a number of you, it was the most basic tamale recipe that possibly I could have delivered. And we're going to end up completely diverging from that. Well, not say completely. Those are still the basics of it, but there's quite a few steps. Take them, appreciate them, just kind of learn them. It will be confusing. Believe me, I'm still confused myself. But apparently after this call, my mom just said that it's now on me to be able to make tamales for the rest of my family. So here you go.
Yeah, he's going to be in charge.
Yeah.
I said, when I'm no longer around.
Stop, Mom.
Well, at my age.
Yeah. But you can understand that, and we'll get onto the cooking here in a second. The basis of tamales is not as much as it is the cuisine, but it's more the tradition around it. It is the Hispanic heritage. And that's probably one of the reasons why I think, as Renee and I talked through this, there wasn't anything more poignant than the tamale that we could really talk about. That could very well be a signature piece of the Hispanic Heritage Month. We know that also in Latin America, it does take on different forms. We talked about that, right, Mom?
Yes, because they don't use
in Guatemala, they use banana leaves, plantain,
leaves.
Right? Yeah.
So that's the wonderful part.
Right.
They use what is in their country.
Yeah.
You know, basically.
So we're making the traditional pork tamale. And I did receive a few questions before we started was, hey, what if I don't eat pork? Well, guess what? We've got a lot of solutions, and along the way, we're kind of dive into them a little bit. We actually have a few vegetarians in my family, actually some that are vegan.
Vegan, right?
Yeah. So
I made vegan tamales for them.
Yeah, we sure did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what should we get started on first, Mom? What do you think we should do?
Well, we have the masa ready to be mixed.
Yeah. Would you like to get started on that first?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get the masa so we can let it rest.
Okay.
And
let's move over here
and
to
the
the
sauce.
bowl. Okay. So what we have here in this bowl is how many pounds do you think?
We have 8 pounds of
okay.
Of masa.
Okay. Now, what is masa?
Okay, masa is corn that has been cooked, not just regular corn, but it's called nixtamal. It's the big kernels of corn.
Kind of like hominy.
Like hominy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's dried and soaked and cooked. And
now what do we do with this when it's here? If you could go ahead and your hands are clean, mine are not. So go ahead and get into there.
Yeah, here is the piece that hasn't been mixed yet.
Yep.
But
and so so you didn't like ground this on your own, right?
No,
you didn't go there and you're not like this, right? So where did we get this? What did we do with this?
Well, I did. You need to go to a Mexican store, which will have masa. It has already been prepared, and the preparation, and then simple.
Yeah.
And
now you know that most of us in California, so most on the call are actually from California, but there are so many other. There are plenty of Mexican and Hispanic type grocery stores in a lot of your neighborhoods. It'd be great to take the time to really invest into that, because when you go into that market, right, you see all the cultural different types of foods that you actually can get take advantage of,
right.
Right? Not only just the masa, but you also see the chocolate, and you also see all these other different, the chiles. Oh my God, it was crazy. I hadn't been into a Mexican market in quite a while. And it was actually kind of a cool thing to actually see some of this stuff. So you were able to buy this already halfway prepared.
I ordered.
Right? You ordered it. Yes, you got to order it.
Because you can buy it already. The market, each Mexican market gets their masa from different sources.
Right.
And some of that has been prepared with lard. And
oh yeah, that's another thing. Yes, traditional masa is made with lard, right? Okay, so
we don't
growing up, my mom, she never bought that sugar cereal. She never bought all those things that I was like, okay, why don't we get this? And one of the things that I realized is that the masa, which was traditionally made with lard, is made with vegetable shortening.
Yes.
Yes.
Vegetable shortening we use. And then,
Okay, so wait, so hold on a second. So one of the things that you could use as an option, right? If you were making a vegan tamale, is what, Mom?
ghee.
Ghee.
I use ghee because my daughter was vegetarian and vegan. So I mixed the masa, the corn, with a traditional ghee, which runs a little bit more expensive, but we know that it is the healthiest.
Okay, so let's get to it.
Okay.
You're there. Now what do we do with this?
Okay, now we just add them, because this is just simple masa. It doesn't have any lard, doesn't have any shortening yet, doesn't have anything. So what I do is I add some baking powder, you know, as you would your basic pie recipes. And I already had some there.
Okay.
And salt.
Salt, yep.
That's about. And you need to have.
That's an exact measurement, right?
Yeah.
Mom, you got your hand like this, you go like this, you throw it in like that, right? Remember that, write it down.
Yeah.
Exact measurement.
Yeah, the exact measurements. And that's the way Mama used to do it. You know,
Mama, who's Mama? Mama.
Mamacita, my mama.
Your mother, yeah.
Yeah, my mother.
Who, by the way, we actually, my wife and I, learned how to make tamales from my grandmother. So, well, at least that one time. Okay, so after you do that, then what do we do?
And then I mix it all, you know, mix this before I add the shortening.
Okay, so let's.
Or the ghee.
So what we did, if you want to move the camera to this way while my mom is doing that, over here, we've already actually started doing the melting of the Crisco, right?
Yeah.
So Crisco,
And
yes,
I like
vegetable
Crisco.
shortening.
You can use
So-
vegetable.
Okay, so we're gonna bring this back over here. So we actually gradually spoon this in, right, Mom?
Let me mix this
Okay,
well
Mom,
first.
yes, we'll do that.
All
Okay,
the baking powder with
Okay.
that.
okay, so,
And you can add broth, but I prefer not to add the broth because.
okay, should I do this?
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
we'll
you
go ahead,
can
just
start, yeah.
spoon it in like this.
Yeah.
Now, if you get, I'm not sure if the camera gets this, but it actually has a little bit of a glisten to it, right? It's, of course, it's vegetable oil, right?
Right.
And the problem would be if you add too much of this shortening, what would happen, Mom?
Well, they'd be very greasy and, you know, but some
Yeah.
people like it that way.
Yeah, okay,
We
well, we
don't-
don't, right?
No, there is a test. And the test for prepared masa is to have one little bit of masa in a glass of water, and if it floats, that means it has enough shortening.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, that Mamacitas didn't agree with that. She says, if you do that test, it's all lard or all shortening, because shortening, you know, will float.
Yep, that's
But
right.
if you add, so her test, she showed me what her test was,
Okay, so
and that's what, after you
thankfully,
mix it,
okay,
and to get your hands in there is
That's
just a
right.
pleasure.
it's all right. So now, fast forward. This takes a while. It takes some time. I was doing it myself. It was not working. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. The story was, at least with my grandmother, my wife and I, we brought her over to our house just like this. And I was doing this. I was mixing the masa with my hands. And she was looking at me and she was like, mijo, mi hijo, my son. It's a term of endearment. Mijo. No. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, Grandma. I don't know what you're saying. And so she literally pushed me off to the side, okay? She pushed me off to the side. And so she was doing exactly what my mother was doing, right? Okay, but then what happened was, it was almost like a magical moment. I'm not kidding you. Okay, let's put this aside, Mom.
Yeah.
And then we'll move it to this right here, right? So if we can get a little bit closer, it's, again, really hard to show in terms of the camera, but
This has already been mixed now with the shortening.
yeah, right.
And water without the broth.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're mixing it. You're mixing it.
yeah.
Like, get your hands
So
in there. And then
after-
what happens? What happens to the masa? How can you tell it's done?
Okay. The way that Mamacita showed me that it's done is that you get it all together and you pat it and you give it the test.
What's the test? What
The
happens?
test, it doesn't cling, the
Mhm.
masa doesn't cling to your
Mhm.
hands any longer,
Right.
and
right.
it's not too greasy. It's done. You
So
see?
if you see that, there's no masa on her palm of
Yeah,
her hand.
after you clean, first you gotta clean.
So my grandmother was doing this while we were making the tamale, and my wife and I turned. We were doing something else in the kitchen, and as she was doing this, all of a sudden we hear this and we're like, oh my God, what happened, Grandma? What happened? She goes, mira, mira. She wanted us to see her hands, and that was the signal. It said the masa is ready. The masa does not have too much of the vegetable shortening and has just enough to be able to be as silky and as smooth as it is now. We'll explain later as to why that's important, because it's very important with the spreading of the masa. Okay? All right, so yes, you probably have 1,000 questions. We probably went through it way too quickly, but we're gonna get to some questions a little bit later so we can go through this, the other steps here too. Just be cognizant of time.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's
So we-
masa.
Okay, so we've got the
Now,
masa down, Mom.
Let's get the sauce, the chili sauce
The chili sauce,
that's
okay.
prepared
So the
ahead of time.
The chili sauce, that's right.
Yeah, chili
So when we
sauce.
talk about the chili sauce, we're talking about what exactly is in the sauce, Mom?
There, I use 3 to 4 different types of pods,
Okay,
dry pods.
let's go take a look at that,
Yeah.
because we actually have them out ready for everybody
Okay.
to see. So if we move the camera over this way, these are the chilies that we bought at the Mexican store. There's 3 different types, right, Mom? Of course, the
Yeah.
recipe that I sent you only had 1 type, but this one is chile pasilla ancho. Okay, it looks like this. It almost like a prune, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's dry, yeah.
Chile guajillo. What's the why chile guajillo?
It's plentiful,
Mhm.
very plentiful in Mexico, so.
And
And
very popular, used widely used.
popular and less expensive. This is the most
The
expensive.
pasilla ancho is the most expensive.
Yeah, that's the
I
most
agree.
expensive.
And then chile California.
Oh, Mamacita, love chili because it has a nice flavor and it's not hot.
Okay.
You know, spicy,
It's not
but
hot.
it has a very good flavor. And
Okay.
it's also plentiful, especially in California, and it's grown here in California.
Okay. So of course you could you could do 1 or you can do 3, or if you have other different types of chile, you can try that too. The message is try it out, see how it works with you. What my mom said that we should have done is actually roasted some of these chiles. They're dried, but the roast gives it a little bit of a
It enhances the flavor.
enhances the flavor. Okay, so this might be an example. It's a little crackly now. We've only put it into the oven. We actually only put it in for 5 minutes, and it's just like that,
yeah.
right? And so it's a little cracky like that, just like that. But what do we do with these now? You don't just throw them into the to the pork, right?
Well, we soak them.
Okay, so let's go take a look and see what it looks like when we're soaking. So we take all the chile over. Sorry.
I can't tell. Look. Yep. Thanks.
Sorry.
Okay.
So we take, this is, the complications of a 1-camera shot, just so everybody knows, 1-camera production. So what we have to do is we have to soak them, right, Mom?
Right.
Okay, so we just soak them in water. That's all we do. But it's really important to get them nice and wet and soggy, right?
Yeah, they start.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we put this to this iron. What do you call this? Iron press.
Or you can use anything.
Anything, just to
because
keep
they
it down,
start
because
floating.
they'll float, right?
They'll
Yeah,
float up.
exactly. So if you want to get that in there really closely and get that nice shot of just these chilies that are just nice and soggy. Look at that. Oh my God. Sorry, you don't have the smell-o-vision right now,
Yeah.
but just smelling these peppers it's just amazing. And just having this throughout the house all day long was truly spectacular. It reminded me.
Right.
Your mom wants to show the de-seeding.
Now we have.
Yes. So what do we do next?
Now, let me show you how we clean them up.
Okay, go ahead, Mom.
And how we make the sauce. So in order to, okay, let's get this.
Whoop.
Now, let me have a pot to where we're gonna place
Okay.
the dried chilies.
Okay,
I
Mom,
mean,
what are we doing now?
We're going to clean out the the chili.
Okay.
One spot here. Are we putting them straight in here?
We're gonna put them into a pot. You know what, Mom, should we put it right into the blender instead? What do you think? Do you think that's an easier way to do it?
Well,
See, this is a moment of discussion about actually what is right and what's not right.
Yeah,
When you go through
we
the
can do
tamale
it.
process,
We
you'll
can do it.
realize that there are like 5
we can do it.
different ways to actually make a tamale.
Okay, this is, this is one way. If the longer you soak them, the more pliable they'll be. But you see, to be able to, you have to take out the seeds, open it up, and
Why do we want to take the seeds out, Mom?
well, the seeds are some people don't take the seeds out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, but we always
take them out, right?
we took them out. Yeah, some people leave the seeds.
It does give it a different flavor
Well,
profile.
and it's
here you really
hotter
truly
to,
get, you get the meat of the of
so
the pepper, right?
here's one,
There you go.
and then
Oh yeah,
and
look at that.
if you pull down like this, you see it will all come out.
Okay.
The seeds will come out,
Right.
and then you put your.
So this in itself is a process, right? Remember I talked about communal cooking. You could have one person solely just on the pepper itself, right? The chile itself. Someone buying the chile, making sure it's the right chile to do, then to soak it right, to roast it right, and to peel it right. So one person, maybe a few, could actually just do this one step alone. So now what she's doing is taking the chile, she's selecting each one and cleaning it out. We're going to put it right directly into a blender. So from this pot, Mom, into the blender, what are we going to do? We're
going to add some spices and blend it until we get a nice paste.
Okay.
And put it in a pot and bring it to a boil. And as we prepare the meat, then we're going to add it to the meat, not the meat to the chili, but the other way around.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get that going.
Okay, so how much do you want me to do? You want me to?
That's good. That's perfect. Let's bring it over here.
Wait a minute, I want to be sure I have one of each. Let's see, California.
Okay, one more. We'll get one more down, okay? Now, of course, there's a shortcut to this. The shortcut is that you can actually buy this canned, right, Mom?
Well, you can buy the chili powder.
Oh, you could buy the chili powder. Okay.
Yeah, they have California in chili powder. They have all of this in powder.
Okay, but we don't recommend that.
Well,
right?
no.
We don't recommend that.
Not to get the real flavor.
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and move it on, Mom.
Okay, wait a minute, I need to put some more.
Oh, Mom, come on, let's go. We've
these.
got time. We've got a lot more steps to go, right? Now, I'm rushing her through because it's an hour to go, right? We only have an hour.
I need some of this.
Okay, let's go ahead and do it one more time.
No, I need some of this.
Oh, the water.
Water, yeah.
Okay,
Then you have a cup.
Okay, do you want to use the, just the scoop, just scoop it in?
Well,
that's good.
Yeah, that would
That's
be
fine.
okay, but that's not big enough.
Okay, let's keep going.
I had a spoon there.
So
we want to be sure to create a nice little.
If you were to guess from start to finish how long tamales take, how many days do you think?
Well, it all depends on who's doing what.
Who's doing what and when?
When I did them by myself, it took me weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and then I froze them. I only did 5 pounds at a time.
So you're putting in just enough water just to cover the chile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Let me see. I think that would be enough. Now we can get some more.
Let's get to the next step.
Okay.
Bam, bam, bam.
And then we have to
again,
spice this.
I'm rushing this, and if we weren't on camera, she'd probably be telling, would you better slow down because I need to finish this, right?
You can, I add, where's the garlic?
Oh, sorry. Oh, we need the garlic. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, the garlic is right here.
We have fresh, I like to add fresh garlic.
Got fresh garlic right here. So in terms of what you're putting in, we've got garlic. And we actually
that one already has garlic, so
we actually have from Trader Joe's, believe it or not.
Yeah.
This is Chile seasoning blend. The reason why you like this is because it basically has everything that you were intending to put in anyway, right?
Right.
Now, what is that?
It
has
has
glasses off to read this.
It has brown
chili
cumin.
pepper, more chili pepper, cumin, garlic powder, and oregano. Just a little, just give it a little bit more of a spice to it.
And then we
Okay.
need a little salt too.
Okay, we're gonna put in a little salt. How much salt, Mom? What do you think? A little handful?
No, not a whole handful, just
About
about
a teaspoon?
Yeah, about
Okay.
like that.
We'll do that.
Well, to taste, we might be able to.
Just to season it to taste.
Yeah, but remember the pork already has some garlic also,
Okay.
but fresh garlic is just
Okay.
wonderful.
Okay, now that we've actually put all the garlic in, that's good because we have to get to the other step.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
let's go ahead and put that
Yeah, let
in,
me
that
put
last
another-
clove of garlic in.
we
got
didn't
it?
have to season it, this is,
Okay, let's add the seasoning.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
okay.
Add it in. Okay,
Okay, that's about,
all right. So now we're going to pulse it, right, Mom?
yeah, pulse it first.
Okay, go ahead.
Till you get And then we put it
Okay.
on high. No, just move it. Now let's see how that is. Does
Okay,
it have a nice
let's look at the
paste?
consistency.
Should
what do
be
you
a
think?
nice paste.
Oh yeah, look at that one. Nice pasty.
Yeah, it
Okay.
should be like a nice paste.
All right, so
Okay.
now that we have this finished, I'm gonna actually take just a quick, let me see. Let's take a question or two if we actually have one now. Anybody, we'll take a quick little break here from this.
Okay, one question from Susan Whitney is, how do you keep masa from getting dry?
Well, I usually pat the top of it with shortening, and then just start when I'm spreading the masa. I just use one part of it, at the top, so you don't start from the middle. You just keep it.
Nice and moist.
Yeah,
yeah.
keep it moist.
I've also noticed that you've also covered it during the process
Yeah.
too.
And water, you gotta have a little water
Yeah.
available too.
Mhm.
Because when you're spreading it on the husk, you need to have it pliable so that it spreads easily.
Easily, yeah,
And
it's
not-
super important not to have it dried out.
Yeah.
Great point.
Super. And then why the dried chilies and rehydrate them, and why not just buy them fresh? Maybe because you can't find them fresh? Can you find the chilies fresh? Why do you use dried
get the
chilies?
package and
Oh.
not fresh and like right off the vine, for example?
Oh, right off the vine? Well, because if you use the fresh off the pods, it will not have the same consistency. It would be like a salsa, we use the fresh ones for salsa. But the dried ones are to make your sauce,
So that makes it more pasty.
for your meat. But you can use the fresh, we've used the fresh chilies also for tamales. The Anaheim chilies that are long, you can use those fresh and stuff them with cheese. And those are really good.
You can
That's
also,
an appetizer. That's just an appetizer is what I call that.
the flavor profile also does change when you go from a natural state to more of the dehydrated state. And you're also able to roast them a lot easier when they're dried too as well. Yeah.
And it just extends your meat also.
That's it, yeah. Any other questions before we?
Nope, that was it.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so now we're gonna finish the, I think it's like the fruit of the tamale, which is the filling, right?
The filling.
So again, we chose pork as the filling, okay? But as we explained, with some vegetarians and a vegan in our family, we've changed it up a little bit, right? I know that you've done chicken tamales. Chicken tamales are very good. But inside, what else have you done?
Oh, I've made salmon tamales too, without the sauce, just salmon, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And of course, everything's already pre-cooked. So the salmon is grilled, and you put a piece of salmon with some lemon.
Yeah.
And then your masa, your basic masa, and you steam them. And
Now,
my grandchildren
I'll
love
tell you,
these.
I was actually shocked and surprised, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe it. She actually complimented me this past Christmas time, right?
Oh, you made good.
I made the same sauce, right? But instead of using pork, I used
Vegetarian.
I used impossible meat,
yeah.
or any type of that type of alternate beef. You can do the same process. You just change it. Instead of pork, you can add any other type of protein that you like.
And tofu.
We've done actually the tofu is awesome. Tamales,
sauce, yeah.
and also, believe it or not, you can actually change it into a dessert. I remember making the sweet tamales. Yeah, you could do sweet pineapple tamale inside the masa. It's absolutely awesome. I actually made it with cranberry and quinoa.
Wow.
It was did you remember that, Mom? Yes, I brought them. Yes, I got them. Okay. Actually, I liked them, and it was a little bit of a controversy whether or not people liked the quinoa and cranberries. So
I made some for my husband. Apple. But the masa was prepared with a little sweetener in it.
Yeah, it was so good.
And then I had fresh apples. I didn't have to cook the apples, just like you were doing an apple pie.
Right.
And I used butter and cinnamon, and folded it and steamed them.
Oh, I'm getting hungry
and
right
it
now.
was
Good.
like
now
a tamale pie.
Oh, yeah, it was so good.
A tamale a la mode, and then served it with ice cream.
Someone just asked a question. They said, "How has anybody tried mole?" We're not going to get into the mole question because this is a completely different story, but great point because, oh my God, mole, it's nothing better. Again, I think an acquired taste, but I actually love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're now going to do, the step of the actual protein. What we did with the pork, again, different from the recipe. We're going to braise it. We're going to roast it. I said boil it. You could boil it, but we're going to roast it. And then we're going to bring all the ingredients together. Okay, Mom, you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. So.
Let's get the sauce in here.
Okay, so what we're doing right now is you start with, we got here is a nice pork butt, right?
Yeah.
So the best part about the pork butt, at least in this one, is that it's got a good amount of fat, right?
Yes,
This is
enough fat that'll,
Yeah, so it's really, we think it's a pretty good choice. Again, people like to use the shoulder, people like to use other parts of the pork, but we think the butt is the best because of the marbling that it has, and
you can shred it after the,
and you can shred it, right?
Fat is.
Yeah. So we just simply put it into the pot just to kind of turn it over just a little bit, right? Just to make sure that it gets nice and braised. And thankfully, we actually already did it here to show you that this was just a simple braise. And nothing more. You can also hopefully hear it sizzle just a little bit. And if anybody has made something like short ribs, for example, same process. Get it to braise, and then you get it to roast a little bit later. So you take the braised pork already, right? What we did was you put it into a big roaster. If you want to follow me right over here. And what we're going to do, Mom, would you like to pull that top there? We'll put it right in here. Oh yeah, remember that. Right in there. So if you notice, we have how many pounds here? Did we put 15 pounds?
Yeah, it was 15 pounds.
Okay, we're making a lot of tamales, right?
Boneless.
Boneless pork butt. It's roasting right now. It's in its own juices. But actually, we learned something new today. When we were shopping
for the ingredients,
we came across this great little package, and it's basically what's called tamale mix. And we're like looking at the tamale mix, and we're like, I guess it's probably a good idea we use this, right? So the best part about it has all the things that you were going to put in it too, right?
Bay leaves.
We have the bay leaves. We have the pasilla, guajillo. And we also have sesame seeds. We have some pumpkin seeds too. Now, why all that? It just gives it some unique, authentic flavor to really infuse into the pork butt, right?
Right.
And as you can hear, we already have it
sizzling.
We already have it sizzling, right?
Excuse me.
Simple as just just turning it over. And if you notice, we're using an iron skillet, right? I think iron skillet is one of the best things, one of the best pans that you can have in the kitchen. Easy to clean, but it's also the temperature, the heat just evenly disperses. And it looks pretty authentic too when you're actually using an iron skillet. So. Okay, so we actually have this going, right? What's the next process, Mom?
Well, we need to get the sauce over here going.
Okay. So we're gonna take.
Bring it to a boil while we're getting the meat, shredded.
Turn that on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna bring it, just put it in, right? Simple as that?
Yeah.
Then we're gonna bring it to a boil. I put it on high. Careful not to burn this. It is, when you overcook this and it gets burnt, you truly do have a burnt taste. And it just completely changes over the profile, and you gotta throw it out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you just need to check the consistency. If you want to thicken it or make it hotter.
Yeah, to make it hotter.
Then you can have some New Mexico ground chili. I need some like that.
What do you think, Mom? How do you think it's gonna turn out?
Needs some salt.
It needs more salt. Okay, we'll do that. Magic at television, or at least on Teams, just imagine that we put salt in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Season to taste, right? Season to taste. Okay, so once we have this done and it starts to boil up, we gotta get that pork in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we get the meat and shred it and add the sauce to the meat.
Okay, so let's go ahead and pull just a little portion of the pork out, right? We're gonna pull it out. You notice, now, we think it's not fully cooked yet. Apparently I didn't put it in long enough.
But I prepared some already.
You did? Okay, so if you see this,
This one.
oh look, actually this one, it looks pretty good, but let's show them first how you actually can take this. What you want to do is you kind of want to just shred it, right?
Yeah, it should be shredded.
Now this is also a debate. We say to shred, some people say to cube, some people say let's leave it as in big chunks as possible.
Yeah, Mama used to like little chunks.
Oh, Mom, I think this looks great.
But
Look at this.
small.
Look at how wonderful this is just kind of falling off,
that's
right?
cool. Mhm.
When you boil it, it will come off like that, but oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that just tastes so great. Oh, I love it.
We'll put it in there.
Okay, so we're gonna actually, you just basically take as much as you can.
No, you don't put it on the, put it on this other
Oh, I
skillet.
see.
And then you add the sauce.
Oh, I almost
Okay.
see. I'm already gonna get kicked out of the
Yeah.
kitchen, right?
No.
Okay, so
You don't know how much
put this on
sauce you're going to use.
a little bit of a high heat to start, just to get the skillet going right away, right?
Yeah.
And then you take the sauce and you put it into the thing,
Yeah.
right? So let's go ahead and do that right now.
You want to bring this to-
There you go. Oh, perfect. Mom, do you remember the first time you ever made tamales?
Oh, gosh, it's hard to remember.
Hard to remember?
No, because my part was only in helping Mama prepare the sauce.
Right.
So I learned how to make the sauce.
Because as a kid, as a child, you were only allowed to do certain processes, right?
Right.
I know. Yeah, it's kind of like going to apprentice school and learning how to make tamales. 1 year you could possibly graduate to maybe say like, I don't know, spreading out the chile, right?
You have to have somebody supervise.
Oh yeah, I've been kicked out of the kitchen 50 million times because I'm not. Oh, you'll learn. I'm still not good at it. So.
Oh yes.
Okay, so we're doing this, all right? It's already finished. Let me actually show you, right?
Yeah.
How long are we gonna cook this for?
Well, like I said, when the meat, is cooked with the sauce, why don't you add this?
Okay, we'll add it to it. Okay. So this is actually the prepared filling that we've
A
made.
little earlier, yeah.
We did it a little bit earlier, and as you see, the pork actually separated as we were cooking it into the sauce. So we're actually going to pour it right into the.
Just so we can have enough.
There you go. Perfect.
So they can all be blended.
The smell is just great.
Sure
I gotta
does.
taste this right now, Mom. Look at that. Oh yeah, you can actually see some of the chili and some of the seeds that are in here that aren't fully blended, but they're just, I mean, it gives such a great texture. Okay.
They have enough salt?
Oh my God, it's perfect, Mom.
Yeah.
It's a little spicy, I will tell you. That is another thing that you may want to play with a little bit. Spice may not be the best thing for your family, right? Others, it may be just like, yes, I need more spice. This is not spicy enough. We need to get it spicier. Just like it reminds me of Aunt Anna, my mother's sister. She loves everything spicy. So this is perfect. And the interesting part about it too, is also mellows out as you cook it and you steam it in the pots, which we'll show you in a second, right? Okay. Good. All right, so we did this. We're all done right now. And let's just say we let it cool. Actually, we do have to let it cool.
Get the little bowl.
Oops, sorry about that.
Yeah, Where's the bowl?
Right over here.
Put it in the bowl.
Right in. Put it in the pool. Gotta let it cool down a little bit. Okay. So we're going to put it into the bowl here. We're gonna let it cool because this is gonna be part of what we're gonna do, which is spreading the final coming together of the tamale, right? We got the filling, we've got the masa. Corn husks, where are the corn husks?
They're in the sink.
Okay, they're in the sink.
Yeah.
Actually, we put them right over here, man.
Oh, you did? There. Oh, they're right here.
Okay.
Okay, now we need to.
So what we did
Are these
here
the one?
is,
No, these are the ones that I sold, you know? I mean, that I threw down.
okay, so the corn husk. Again, purchased at our Mexican grocery store. Not too hard to miss. It does say corn husk right here. It comes dried, comes in the bag. And a few rules of thumb. One of them is this is not for eating. Not traditional, not exposed to traditional Mexican cuisine. I have noticed a few that have tried to eat the corn husk and pretend that they actually liked eating it. that is
Oh my gosh, there was somebody that tried eating.
That's right, but that's okay. It's a learned process, right, Mom? Yeah. Okay, so.
And then we need another.
So what we did though, was we actually took the corn husk and we reconstituted it. We actually brought the water back into it. Why is that important? You need to have it nice and pliable. Okay, it needs to be actually nice, a little bit of moist. You want to be able to play with the corn husk, which we'll show you in a second. And then when we fold it, you also want to be able to fold it and not crack it. Okay, so very important. And then it's going to be important for the actual cooking of the tamale itself. Okay, so the part where I fail all the time, and
No.
she's really going to show me.
Well, different ways of spreading the masa. One of my sons bought a spreader that you just put the masa, and to have an equal amount of masa for each tamale. Let's see.
So this is actually, I think of all the elements of making a tamale, one of the most communal aspects of the tamale making. This is when the filling comes together, the masa comes together. Everyone who had a part in their individual tasks of the tamale itself is now sitting amongst the table, sitting amongst a countertop in a kitchen, or in my mom's case, every year sitting amongst 20, 30 ladies at our parish church many years ago, right?
Oh, yes.
And how many tamales did you make at that moment?
Oh my gosh, we made about 100 pounds of masa. That was equivalent to, well, it depends. Some people made them really big and others made them small.
Another
That's
debate,
where the ladies
right?
got into arguments because they believed that every tamale was, particularly because it was going to be for sale, that they should all be equal amount. So that's where somebody used the ice cream scooper to scoop on the hoja so that we'd have the same amount.
And so you ended up wanting to make what? How many dozen tamales?
We for our other A fundraiser?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
How
made,
many?
yeah, we made over 100 pounds too. Gosh,
So how many dozen is that? Do you think, I think that was more like at least a few hundred dozen, right?
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Gosh, a few hundred dozen tamales, okay? And
That
we're
was-
here just trying to put one together, just to put it all in perspective. Okay, so let's actually show them really the best way to be able to spread the masa onto the corn husk.
Okay, the way that is, like I said, there are all kinds of ways that you can do it. But the way that I learned from my mamacita was not even to use a scooper because it all depended on the size of the hoja. If there was a small hoja or a small, then you use a smaller amount. So what I learned is that you just place your masa in the middle like this, and then spread it to the end of the corn.
What kind of tool is that, Mom?
Well, this is just a spatula.
Oh, this is a little mini spatula. You
Yeah.
just got this at a regular grocery store,
Or you
right?
can use a big one.
A
And
big
this is
one.
what,
That's a pastry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do
Mhm.
this. And
Or I've actually used a metal spoon,
yeah,
right, before.
you can use a metal spoon, but I like
Mhm.
using this.
Okay.
And
So
so,
you're spreading it, but you're spreading it not generously. You're just spreading it enough so you're covering the corn husk. Is that right?
yes, yes.
Okay. And why is that? Do you think that's important?
Well, because when they steam, then all the meat is going
Mm-hmm.
to be integrated with the
Mhm.
masa.
Now, again, a big debate between families that this is the big derivative of what you would do with the tamale.
Yeah,
Some like to generously put down masa because they like the feeling of the cornmeal.
yeah.
But others say, no, I just want enough because this is the biggest part of the tamale, which is the filling, right?
Right.
Let's show everyone how we actually now put the final piece
Let me
together.
have a bigger spoon.
Would you like a bigger spoon?
Yeah,
Do you think we
like
can
a
get a
big
bigger
table.
spoon here? Okay, so what we're going to do is put in, how much of the filling do you think, Mom?
Well, like I said, this is a big tamale,
Mhm.
and
There's
this
your
has
spoon.
about
Here.
this has about 4 ounces of
Okay.
masa.
4 ounces of masa.
So I would say three to 4 ounces of meat.
Now,
know,
what you would normally
soft.
do, we did not allow this to cool enough, but it's
Yeah.
important to cool it down enough.
Yes.
But for the purpose of showing them how to do it, why don't we go ahead and doing this, knowing that we're probably not going to.
We
fully
cool
prepare
this off,
Mhm.
and when it's all cool, it's so
Right.
much better to estimate. So you place
Oh,
your
yeah, look at that.
your-
That was a good, healthy
yeah. This is a good
serving
amount.
spoonful, yeah.
See,
Okay.
that's about, what'd you say?
Mm-hmm.
And then you bring it over this way
Mm-hmm.
and fold it,
Okay.
and then fold the little ends like this.
Ah, oh my God, that's beautiful. Okay.
And there is your,
There is
Your
your
one.
fully formed tamale. So let's show them now what you do with the tamale once it's fully
Yeah.
prepared. Let's just say we did our few hundred dozen tamales that we just put together, right?
yeah.
So what do we do with that now, Mom? We put it over into the.
They are going to be steamed.
Okay, so let's bring it
Okay.
over to the steamer.
So if you're only steaming 2 dozen tamales,
Mm-hmm.
like
So what we did
At a
was,
time.
okay, interesting. I'm sure everybody has a pot like this at home, right? Yeah, of course, right? Really, the key is that you want to steam the tamale, right? You want to bring it to a nice steam to allow the corn husk to be able to get a fluffy texture. This is what also actually my wife and I do on many occasions. Take a normal pot. You've got a vegetable steamer, right? Simple vegetable steamer. You put it in, you allow the water to boil down there, you put this in here, and you stand up or lay down the tamale inside this pot, right? This is just a much bigger version of what this is actually, okay? So,
now this is only for 2 dozen tamales. This pot.
only 2 dozen tamales, okay? Because normally we make what?
Oh, gosh, 10 dozen.
10 dozen, and actually
12 dozen.
this is no kidding. My dad actually bought a refrigerator or
Yeah,
a freezer.
just to
Just to
freeze.
inventory all the tamales that they've made, right? So if we want to get in here really closely, you can see this is actually, oh Mom, that looks perfect. Look at that. See that, hopefully you can see that on the camera where we get all the steam that's coming up from the water that's underneath. And this has been steaming now for probably a little over an hour. Do you think a little over an hour? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
shall we get one and open this one up?
Let's go ahead and try that. Let me get
Yeah.
it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull.
Get a plate, get a little.
Okay.
Plate. Here.
Let's see, this one might be good enough. Oh, look at that.
You want to
Mom.
test to see when they're ready.
You do. And how do we know it's ready, Mom?
It's ready when the corn husk is able to see, this is ready. When the corn husk
Oh, look
Yeah.
at that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look
has
at that.
plenty of meat.
It's perfectly fine that it's breaking apart like this because I'm telling you.
Yeah, but
what,
you have to let it rest.
Yeah.
After it steams and they're cooked, then you just shut it off and they keep on. You let it rest and and it'll be fine.
So let's open it up, Mom, to show them a little bit more about what it looks like. And I'm gonna taste this because I can't just let it sit there.
Yeah.
Like that, right?
Okay, this is freshly cooked. You want to get a smaller fork?
No, this is good. Oh, I could put that in my mouth right now. The whole thing.
Okay.
So you can see that the fluffy texture of this this masa is super important. It's not mealy, right?
Right.
It's fluffy. So let me see. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. So what we're going to do now.
And you can put some sauce on.
Oh my God, I can't tell you how great this is. I'm so sorry. It's awesome. And we need to show you these perfectly made tamales that were done. What? When did you make these, Mom?
I assembled them in December of 20. So they've been in the freezer.
In the freezer, right?
Yeah.
And you just steamed them. Oh my gosh.
No,
look at
no,
that.
yeah.
Mom.
These I just steamed them. Yeah.
Look at how, so this is more of a much more.
Uncooked. Yeah, you have to say they use.
They were uncooked, right?
Yeah.
You froze them uncooked. The El Jefe yelled from the other room and told us that you make sure you tell them it's uncooked. So, okay,
Yeah,
we just
that
heard
you
that.
freeze them uncooked.
Okay.
So that when you steam them, they'll be fresh, just like this.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay,
Oh, it needs more salt though.
that one needs more salt? Which one? This one or this
Oh,
one?
that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so tamale making in 60 minutes or less. I think we've actually gone through every single step in beast mode fashion, right, Mom?
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That's great.
Yeah. So I asked you when the first time that you actually ate or learned how to make a tamale. And I think I asked my dad the same question. And really the answer that I got is, we really don't know. For as long as we can remember, we were either eating or making tamales, right? So we go back to the whole tradition of tamales and tamale making. It's very endemic in the culture. It's very endemic of, remember, family, of bringing together of people, of celebrations.
Especially at Christmas.
Especially at Christmas. There was a part of the tamale, and I think some of you may actually have had a tamale, where there is a black olive in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
Now, again, a big debate. Do you put the black olive in or do you not put the black olive in? It does actually have a religious connotation to it, one of which I actually never knew. I thought it was just it was kind of like my Uncle Jess used to make one with the black olive.
And I have a friend, well, a tamale is not tamale unless it has a black olive.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I don't like black olive, so I'm perfectly fine without the black olive in the tamale. But the point is that it really does just drive down the fact that as part of Hispanic heritage, there is always something that glues you together. It's always something that brings us together as a family. And it is indicative of, I think, really what is true about the Mexican heritage. You think, Mom?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Well, let's see. We have 5 minutes left. Some of you may
just
have.
one more thing,
Yes,
that
Mom.
the tamale festivities do not terminate Christmas Eve or Christmas time. Another tradition in our culture, which we didn't really follow, but that I learned to follow with our church group, is the feast of the Candelaria. And then you have a tamalera, and that for sure you gotta have tamales.
Okay.
And somebody always makes the tamales for that festivity. It's gathering yourself with other community members, not just your immediate family, but others.
And that's a challenge for you too. We're going to have questions, but I was thinking about this, about tamale making. And I think one of the probably the biggest compliments that you can make and have with someone, some family, or some maybe it's a friend that actually has made tamales that you were aware of, or maybe you were the recipient of some tamales. Take the time. It might be okay if you were to ask if you could be a part of the celebration too, because I think you might learn a little bit about a little bit more of the culture. Now that you've had this 1 hour introduction, it's going to be a lot easier, let me tell you. A lot easier for me when I was a kid, because I always got kicked out because I never did it right? I never had this 1 hour tutorial, so.
You're going to be in charge now.
Oh, God, okay. All right, so we need to open it up for questions or any other comments. I'm sorry, I'm not reading the chat right now, so maybe if someone is reading the chat and if there's some questions there that we might be able to answer.
Ray, there aren't really questions in the chat, but I am curious, there was a comment about the smell-o-vision, and, like when you're on the radio, announcers are talking about things, they're very descriptive in what they're experiencing. And I'm wondering if you could try and articulate to us what that experience was like for you.
Well, I'll tell you what my personal experience is. And when I smell chile and I smell the filling of the pork, it reminds me of my grandmother. It reminds me of my uncle, all of those who are no longer with us. But it connotates that, and it's very hard to describe, but one that always brings warmth and comfort to you, right? So when I haven't smelled those chiles cooking in quite a while. So as soon as I opened that up, there was a positive trigger that said, I remember that, right? And it brings back those memories. So, but I would classify it as warmth, as energy, and as I don't know, as loving as you can imagine.
Some comfort in that. Hey, what's the best way to reheat the frozen tamales?
That's a good question. A frozen tamale that has already been cooked, you can either put it in a steamer again, which will be a short time. You can even put it in a Ziploc bag in the microwave, and then you can see, as soon as you see the bag expand, your tamale's ready.
The only concern I would say about a microwave is that if you let it sit and you microwave the tamale, it will dry quickly. So pop it in the microwave and eat it as quickly as you can.
Yeah, but it's better to steam them again, a little steamer. And then others, put it right on the grill. They get the tamale in and just put it in a small grill.
And tamales aren't just for dinner too. One of my favorite times of actually making the tamale is after Christmas Eve, when I'm sitting down with my family, my wife and my 2 daughters, and we're having Christmas morning breakfast. And the pork tamale goes wonderful with a scrambled egg or a nice quiche.
Yeah.
If you go back to dinner, I'm not sure if we have any sommeliers here, but it would be great and wonderful to understand what a really good, red wine would pair. I would definitely say red wine. Other than that, I would choose my ice cold Modelo.
Oh, I like that. And so what was that?
Cerveza.
Or tequila.
Or tequila.
Tequila.
Margaritas.
So Ray, when you and your mom aren't in the kitchen making tamales, how do you like spending your time together?
Oh, that's sweet. I don't know. How do we like spending our time together, Mom?
With the family?
Oh, sure.
It's always around food. Let me tell you, the best time for every time we gather, it's always with food. Like the posadas that I was talking about, that we celebrate 9 days before Christmas. Each one of the children, of our adult children, select a day, and so we go from home to home, depicting the journey of Mary and Joseph asking for lodging. And of course, they say there's no room here, but whoever hosts that night, which has been predetermined, they prepare a meal. And it could be, you know, whatever they want to prepare. But throughout the years now, everyone is really well known for what they prepare. And they don't prepare tamales. Some of them prepare, of course, chili, and others,
well, quite a bit, quite a bit of food and quite a bit of dessert and singing too. So.
And of course, there's a lot of singing.
A lot of singing. My mom loves to sing, and she loves singing the 12 days of Christmas, and a little bit not so much on dancing anymore. But.
Well,
it's like an impressive parade over time. Christmas.
Always around food, and we're so grateful. For the food that the children prepare in their own homes.
You know what we're also grateful for too is we're actually grateful for you know, allowing BlackLine to share in this experience.
Yeah,
right,
we really thank you.
Given the opportunity for you to share what a true talent that you have, and yeah, now I've got the burden of making sure I'm talented in this too.
Well, there's a few people in few employees in Northern California who are wondering your address and if they can swing by and pick up a tamale. But otherwise, I just want to thank you both, well, the whole crew, in front of the camera, behind the camera, and El Jefe, wherever El Jefe is. We'd love for him to make an appearance. But just thank you so much, Ray, for sharing. Oh, El Jefe.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
we enjoy.
Yeah.
To share this
okay,
with you.
everyone.
Thank you.
We'll see you around.
Adios.
Adios. Yeah.
Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you.
For now.
Thank you.